Now, this is a tutorial on how to use the Zoom web conferencing software to run online classes. There are various options for running online classes. You can use Zoom, or there's a system called WebEx, or there's a system called Microsoft Teams. And people use various options, but I like Zoom. I find it a very easy one to use. Now, if you want to use Zoom to run online classes, you would need to download the application to do that onto your computer or onto your smartphone. We can use our computer to run our classes, or we can run a smartphone, in which case you could be standing at a whiteboard and you could have your smartphone just pointing at you. But we'll look at that in a little while. First and foremost, I'm going to go to the Zoom website, zoom.us. Now, it's important to realize that it's not a .com, it's a zoom.us, so I'm going to go there first. When I go to that page, none of the information is relevant to us other than the plans and pricing option. Now, there's a free option and a couple of paid options, and I'm going to look at those. So I'll go to those four options here. On the left-hand side, if you sign up for this, you can start running classes right away for no payment whatever. It's free. The only problem with it is the free option is limited to 40-minute classes, so you can't go beyond that. It will cut off after 40 minutes. However, if you pay, that 40-minute limitation is removed, and therefore, in my case, to test it out for a month, I have paid for $13.99 for 1 month. And that's plus VAT, so it works out about €17 or so, and that removes the 40-minute limitation, and it will allow you to have 100 participants. Now, participants are synonymous with students in our case here, and a host, by the way, that would be the same as a teacher. So it says €14 plus VAT per month per host. That's for one teacher, if you like. And then there are other options which are not relevant. Now, I have already bought this, so if you wanted to do it, you'd have to sign up an account, and then that would allow you to start using it right away. I've already done this, so I'm going to close this page, and I'm going to launch the Zoom app on my computer. And when I launch the app, it's a very simple interface here. In the left-hand side, there are 4 buttons, and on the right-hand side, it shows any meetings that I may have scheduled for today. And there's nothing in the list on the right-hand side here at the moment because I haven't scheduled any classes. Now, meeting, as I say, is synonymous with class here. If I wanted to start a new class right away, I would just press the orange button. If I wanted to join a class that somebody else is running, I could use the join button. And if I wanted to schedule a class for 4 o'clock this afternoon, I would use the schedule button. And if I wanted to share my screen, that means that I could, if I were typing on a Word document or I were looking at a PDF here on my screen, when I press that button, it would allow me to let my students see that page as well. Now, I'm going to schedule a class for this afternoon at 4 o'clock, okay? And I'm going to press the schedule button here, and I'm going to say, French class, Wednesday, 4 p.m., just so that people who that I invite will know what I'm talking about here. And here in the drop down, I'm going to change that to 1600 hours and finishing at 1700 hours. And I'm going to press schedule here in the bottom right hand corner, and now my class is scheduled. It launches my calendar on my computer to save the time for me, so that's okay. I'm going to close that here. And on the right hand side now, it shows me details of this class. Now, the ellipsis or the 3 dots here, that little button, if I just click that for a moment, it allows me to copy an invitation which I can send out to people to join my class. I can send it out via text, or I can put it into Google Classrooms, and they can click the link in that invitation and then they'll join the class. So I'm going to click copy invitation, and I'm going to go back to Google Classrooms here, let's say, and I'm going to open up a class. Let's say I want to invite my 6th year students to my class this afternoon. I would click this. I'm now in Google Classroom. I would click here, and here where it says share something with your class, I'm going to click that and say paste. So edit, paste. And we can see here now that that is the information that I cut from, when it said copy invitation, when I clicked that, this is the text that it copied. And we can see here that there's a link here. And when I post this, when I post this message, all of my students in my Google class will get that link. And at 5 to 4 this afternoon, they could just click that link and in they would come into my class. Now, I'm not going to post this here because this is a test scenario here, so I'm going to cancel this for a moment. But that is how I would invite somebody to my Google class or to my Zoom class online. So that's how I would schedule a class for the future. I'm going to again click the 3 dots here and I'm going to delete this class actually for the moment and just remove it and say that's okay, delete the meeting, I don't want it anymore. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start a class right now. I'm going to say new meeting, press the orange button, and straight away we can see that this is me speaking live out to the internet now. So if I want to invite somebody right now into my class, I can click copy invitation. And then I could invite people by email, for example, right now, and I could click the email option here and go in and click into my Gmail and paste in the information about this class, and people could join me by just clicking the link and they would come straight in. Now, if we want to use Zoom in a completely traditional way, as if we were a traditional teacher writing on a whiteboard, we can do that as well. We can just simply launch our Zoom app on our phone, start a meeting, and then it will broadcast out over the internet, and our students will be able to see us standing here writing on the whiteboard. Of course, we won't have the interaction between the students because we're not at a computer screen in this instance, but we can ask the students to leave us any messages, any questions, any comments in the chat facility, and then at the end of our session, that chat history will be saved when we click the stop button in the app, and then we can go back and address any questions in a subsequent broadcast. So a very simple way of using the Zoom app in a traditional way, as if we were just writing on a whiteboard. Now, to use Zoom, we can either use it on a computer screen or we can use it on a smartphone. If you want to do a very quick online class, you could just use your smartphone, point it at yourself, and start an online class in the app. I'm going to look at how we would do that right now. So the first thing to do is to download the app. To do that, we would go to the App Store. I'm going to press the icon here. I'm on an iPhone, so we would go to the App Store. But if I were on an Android device, I would just go to Google Play and I would download the app from there. But in this case, I'm going to press the App Store icon. I'm going to type the word Zoom into the search field, and I'm going to tap the first result, which is Zoom. And at the very top of the screen, it says Zoom Cloud Meetings, and that is the app we need to use the Zoom service. Now, I've already downloaded the app, so it's showing me a button which says Open, but if I had not already downloaded it, it would say Get, and it's a free app to download. So I'm going to close this app for a moment, and then I'm going to launch the application there by pressing its icon on my desktop here. I'm going to tap Zoom. But I'm going to press the orange icon to start a new meeting here. And again, it's going to be asking me to start a meeting, which I'm going to do. And now I'm going to say call using internet audio, that's okay. And now my students, anybody I invite to this meeting, can see me now talking out over the internet. There's no problem. Now what I need to do, if I want to invite the students, I would copy a link to this meeting. And so I'm going to press the participants icon in the bottom of the screen, and the bottom left then it says invite, and I'm going to press that button, and that generates a link to this meeting. So I'm going to say copy URL, and then I'm going to close this window, and now I've copied that URL and I can send that URL out, that link out to whoever I want to join me in this class. Now, it's live at the moment, but I could send it to somebody right now and they could click it and they could see me talking to them. If I were to schedule a meeting for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, again, I could copy the link and send them the link, and then shortly before 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, they could click it and they would be into the meeting.